That's right. Welcome in, welcome back, folks, to this is an episode you don't want to be doing in the beginning of November, but here we are. The case for and against a quarterback change the rest of the season for Notre Dame, given all the circumstances. Edition of the Always Irish Show. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps John out as well. Notifications on. That way you alerted every time I yell about something new. You don't want to miss it, do you? Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only. Anywhere you want it, you can get it to Cowlin Lines. 312-988-15. You call and tell Johnny all you've heard and seen in the world of college football and Notre Dame. Instagram, Facebook, all that at Always Irish Inc. USA Today Fighting Irish Wire. Read all about it. Patreon.com/Always Irish. Link in the description. Former Notre Dame captain, very outspoken one, by the way, Mike Goolsby and myself. Exclusive content coming your way. And this episode's brought to you by NDSubwayAlumni.com. They got shirts. They got a Shotsky that's a Lewski. Lou Altz is involved in the project. And it's special to my heart, the Subway alumni thing, and how important that group is and has been and continues to be and will be for Notre Dame football. So go over there, NDSubwayAlumni.com. Go check it out. All right. Here we are. The place nobody wants to be. No fan base wants to be in this spot. What is that spot? You got 2 regular season games left and a bowl game, and you're out of national contention and you're in no man's land. It's a death march. That's where you're at. That's where you're at. This is a worst case scenario for the program and for the fans to have a few games left, 2 and then a bowl game, and absolutely nothing on the line nationally to play for. It is the worst outcome of the year, and here we are. Now, there are levels to this. Like, this is the worst. If it was 6-6, it'd be worse. But once you get below the level of playing for anything that matters at all, the bottom of that to me is the lowest tier of that is New Year's 6. Then I count you as dead. It's just a matter of how dead you are. Awful place to be, but here we are. True to Notre Dame form, here we are. So now what? Now what? Nobody's in the mood. Nobody's in the mood. Oh, we got this bye week, what? To sit there and stew in our misery? Nobody's in the mood for this. And a big question's emerged. Would a quarterback change the rest of the way be what's best for the Notre Dame program? Short-term and long-term. Or maybe just long-term and not short-term. Maybe both. Maybe neither. Is that a reckless move? Is that a smart move? What do you do here? Now, at first, when I started thinking of this question in my mind, when I realized we were going to lose to Clemson and did, I thought, maybe this is just my anger lashing out that I'm like, what should we just get it going with the younger guys and develop them and hell with these other games? You're already out of anything that matters anyway, all of that. I thought maybe it was just me being upset and mad the way I get and processing my way through that. I thought maybe that's just you. It ain't. This storyline's all over Twitter. It's all over other Notre Dame podcasts and YouTubers. And that kind of tells me I'm not crazy by at least asking this question of if a quarterback change would be best for the program the rest of the way. Let's examine the pros and cons to looking into this for Wake, Stanford, and whatever bowl game it is that causes you depression because nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to be excited. Nobody's going to be there. Nobody's going to watch except for all of us that are a magnet for misery. It's depressing. It's depression. That's where we're headed. Let's examine the pros and cons of this. Let's look at a few reasons you would argue it's not a good idea to switch quarterbacks, stay with Hartman. Here's number one. He's QB1 for a reason. And by default, you have to assume that means the staff believes he gives the team the best chance to win. Otherwise, why are you QB1? And I understand this bullet point. The only thing that could be worse than Notre Dame with 3 losses is Notre Dame with 4 or 5, right? So I understand the staff feels pressure to win these games. I get that. So that'd be number one reason to keep it how it is, ride it out with Hartman. He's QB1 for a reason. Number two, team continuity. Not only just with Hartman, but then connecting with all the other parts and just all of the continuity that goes with running an offense and the timing and the snap and knowing how a guy moves and all of that. So you could argue in game 11, when we have all these offensive problems, do you really want to risk having more complications and confusion by switching something this big? I understand that as a concern. I do. And then number three is, I can't even get through this bullet point without laughing, being nice to Sam Hartman. I literally mean that. Like I've seen people say, is it wrong? Are you doing Hartman wrong if you don't let him finish the year? And like, is that rude or like whatever? Being nice to Hartman. Being like, you were our guy. You won the job. We didn't reach our goals. This all failed miserably. And so did you. But, you're going to run out the year. Get to go out there and play your old team. Oh, wow. Okay. So those are the biggest reasons I could see not to switch QBs. Hartman's QB1 for a reason. Team continuity. Do you want to mess all that up? Week 11, game 11. And kind of doing the right thing to Hartman, letting this run its course and honoring all that. All right. Now let's get into some reasons you might consider making a switch for the remaining games. Number one, the offense. How much worse could it get with the different quarterback? You're in Iowa territory. You're bottom of the barrel. You're horrific. You're terrible. There's no different perceptions of this or different observations. You're objectively awful at offensive football and you're getting worse and you're getting exposed. The offense cannot be much worse than it is. You're literally with Iowa dead last in the country since Ohio State in third down conversions, tied with Iowa for dead last. You can't. You're terrible. You're not close to even real world. You're off the grid, of a chart, like a bell curve of great offense. And where are you, in the middle or a little better? That you're off the chart. You're so bad. Nowhere close to being good enough. Embarrassing. You're off the charts bad. And this isn't week 1 to 2. Make your changes. We'll get better. This is 11. You are what you are, and you are shit. You're garbage. You're awful. You're one of the worst offenses in America. That's what you are. So I could contend, how much worse could the offense get? Sammy Eisman there went 13 of 30 with 146 yards, no touchdowns, an interception, and another pick six, and another one that should have been a pick six. Last week in a must-have-it, everything on the line for the year to salvage your gotta-have-it game. That's what you got out of your QB1. Horrible play. You're telling me Angeli can't put up that stat line or better against worse defenses we're going to play the rest of the way? If you are telling me it could be worse, shut the program down then, dude. I don't even know why we're doing this then. 13 for 30, 146 yards, pick six, threw another one right at a guy. Could have been a pick. Like, no, dude. That's garbage. But if you're telling me you don't even think Angeli could put up those numbers or better against worse defenses, I don't even know why we're doing this at all. What is my life in this basement then? Every day doing this. Why do I waste my breath? So I would contend the offense is bottom of the barrel, absolutely horrible. You have no go-to. You have nothing you can lean on. You have nothing reliable. You don't have leaders. You don't have anything I could count on. You don't adjust. You don't play in rhythm. You don't try new things. You're not modern. You're not electric. You don't do confusion. You don't trick anybody. You don't scare anybody. You don't execute anything. You're not good. You're not good. It's one thing if I could see the offensive plan you have and it doesn't work. You don't even have a plan and it doesn't work. There's no concept to the offense. It's impossible to figure out even what they're trying to accomplish. Like at least with Reese, sometimes things didn't work, but you could see what they were trying to set up and then something got messed up. This isn't even at that point. You got nothing. No answers. Parker's lost. He's drowning in the deep end at the YMCA pool. And the lifeguard's on break. Okay? So I would say exactly how much worse could that offense be with Steve Angeli running it when it's bottom of the barrel now? Number two. Don't look now. Notre Dame's in another quarterback cluster again. There's no easy way out of this shit. Notre Dame's in a quarterback nightmare again. Are you going to have to go to the portal? And you know what else? People's appetite for that's going down after the Hartman experience and the letdown of it. People's portal appetite's going down, by the way. Let's note that. But you have a whole nother quarterback problem next year. So this isn't like, okay, this year didn't work out, but we know what we're doing next year and we like it. You have no clue what you're doing next year, and it's a big problem, actually. QB evaluations for next year are critical. Do you trust Minchie or Angeli? Or do we need to go to the portal again? Like, I don't have enough information to know that. And the best thing that can inform that decision for us and the staff is to see them in live game reps. No, not when we're up by 40 and then you put Angeli or Minchie in there to run a couple run plays and take a knee. Those are not real life reps. Those are not real life reps. It's just pointless. It almost annoys me when they bring the backup in just to do, he's not gaining anything. I could go out there, get the snap and kneel down. So you need to have a better idea where these quarterbacks are at so that it informs you in the offseason, do you need to go to the portal or not? The best way to do that is in real games. And now you have an opportunity to play in real games with no national pressure because you're dead. So the evaluation of these quarterbacks that are in-house is a huge key to what happens next year. And if we're going to be miserable next year, they got to have a good evaluation on these guys. Put them in the ball game. Give Angeli app, give Minchie app. Let's see what's happening. Oh, John, you can't risk losing. Bro, running Hartman out there's risking losing now too. Had to have it, must have it. Biggest game remaining in his college career, 13 for 30. Pick six, should have had another one. He looks like he's throwing lame ducks. I know it's not all his fault. I realize the OC's a problem. I realize the wide receivers are a problem. I realize O-line U has some issues. That O-line U thing still gets me. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable to me that people call you O-line. We call ourselves, I don't, but our fans, some of them, call themselves O-line U. You name me the big game moment, O-line U won you the game. You can't because it's never happened. The games you want to reference, whatever's in your head, they're either not the biggest games with everything on the line, or you were playing somebody not as good, but it mattered to us, but they weren't as good. No. There's never been a moment where Notre Dame's O-line won you the biggest game on the schedule because of them bullying people. It's never happened. Q Nelson, I love him. Martin, I love it. McGlinchey, that's great. I love all those guys. But the overall O-line U concept as a unit, no. Oh, O-line U going up against Georgia, 52 rushing yards. O-line U going to the big house against Michigan for 72 yards rushing. Like you're a joke. No, you're not O-line U. You've had a few good guys that are generational. The unit has failed repeatedly when you need it in the biggest moments my entire life. So spare me. It's offensive to be that braggadocious when the on-field results don't match that. Say we have a lineage of a few good guys being generational and going to the league, but O-line U to me is an overall group thing, and it says dominance. If you're O-line U, it means you're dominating that group overall in the country. There's never been a time Notre Dame's done that. Every one of the biggest moments, they fail. So spare me, okay? So you have all these problems with the offense. I understand that. But Sam Hartman has needed to be the sixth-year guy raising the bar on all that. He ain't doing that. He's getting worse. He's getting worse. And then in a few games, he's gone. This was a business arrangement. He made his million behind the scenes or whatever. Come in here, try and make a playoff run. He benefits. Notre Dame benefits. In theory, everybody tried their part in that. Sam did his best. The staff did his best. And it failed. So now the circumstances have changed. So why to switch? Number one is, I don't know how the offense could look worse with the different quarterback. And if it can, shut the whole program down. Number two, you need evaluations to inform you on what you need to do next at quarterback. Now you have a chance to do it in low-risk games. And number three, what about this for an answer? Good old-fashioned accountability. Good old-fashioned accountability. How about that? How about you send a message to the rest of the team? I don't give a shit if you're the big NIL, hottest quarterback in the portal, got to deal with Beats by Dre, whatever. I don't, if you don't perform, you're riding the bench here. Sorry. What about that? Old school accountability. You're the sixth-year guy. You're literally the hired hand coming in here on a financial deal, mutually beneficial, and you failed. Sorry, dude. It isn't just Sam's fault, but the whole thing failed, and you're a part of it. So your usefulness is kind of up at that point. And I know that sounds cold. This was a business arrangement, you guys. Sam got his money, raised his profile and all that. That's what he wanted to do. And then we were getting this sixth-year guy. Everybody honored their parts of the deal, but it's over now. It failed. Send a message to the team. We're not playing good enough, and if you're not going to do that, you're not playing. Sorry. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter who you are. If we're not playing good enough and winning, there's consequences. What about that? Freeman's in a bad spot. He's got to run out a dead year without being more dead, but also has an obligation to answer the question, what's best for the program moving forward? I could argue playing Angeli and even Minchie is what's best for the program because this year is already dead. 3 losses to 4. It makes no difference to me. I'm going to yell about another loss, but it practically makes no difference. You're in the dog feces bowl no matter what. It doesn't matter. And I think you can win these games remaining, even if you have Angeli. I really do. I think there's a way you could thread the needle and get some younger guys experience and find a way to win these games. You're already in the Camping World Bowl. Like, who cares? So I'm Team Youth Movement for reasons of accountability, needing evaluations, and the notion that I am not convinced the way Hartman's playing and this operation's running, I am not convinced that it's going to lessen Notre Dame's chances of winning these games with Angeli in there. I'm just not. The production's been that bad. Sam Hartman's looked that bad. So I get that the biggest reason is going to be you can't lose any more games. I am telling you, are you sure that with Angeli out there, your odds of losing increase that much over what we've been getting? Because I am not convinced of that. And there's just nothing to be gained from Hartman being out there. It doesn't help the future. There's no like development. There's no getting in rhythm for next year with the wide receiver. Like, it's over. His mission here is over. It failed. It failed. And I'm not blaming him for it. It just failed for whatever reason. It just failed. So I don't know where this leaves Notre Dame. It leaves Freeman in a bad spot. It leaves the fan base here like watching a funeral on tape for the next 3 games. I mean, I don't know what you do, but I would at least feel like we're getting ahead on something by seeing this youth out there rather than me seeing the same guys that already aren't good enough finish being not good enough. Wow, big deal. And if you, oh, wow, you beat Wake and Stanford, cool. If you had 1 loss or 2 losses, that interests me. Now it doesn't matter. Practically, it doesn't matter. So I think there's a way you could thread the needle, beat these bad teams, and get these younger guys some evaluation snaps. Sorry, I don't want to be here. This is a horrible place to be. I hate being here, but it's the reality. These are the questions that arise when you suck